Hello and welcome. Welcome to Brazen and welcome to a really fucking awesome episode that I've been excited to record with Jenn for a very long time. I've been kind of fangirling on her for a while. And I also have known Jenn for a really long time. I was actually telling Travis, I'm like, I think the last time that I remember hanging out with her was breakfast. We had breakfast after a night of drinking one time.
We literally, that was the night I met the boys' dad. Remember, I was
I
telling you
know,
about the boy.
that's what I told Trav. I'm like, I think that's the night she met her boy's dad. I'm pretty positive. I'm so excited to have you on, Jenn. You and I feel like we never got to connect as much as we could have. Life was moving really fast for both of us. I ended up moving away. You ended up having this whole life unfold with your beautiful boys. And you've just always been one of my favorite humans. I really like your soul. I
Oh,
really, really
thank
like your
you.
soul. And I really love what you're doing in the world right now. I love your voice. I love how you're using your voice. I love why you're using your voice. And I really hope that this podcast reaches as many people as possible so they can hear that. So, Jenn Mariman, thank you for being here. I'm so excited for this conversation. And before we dive into anything, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah. So thank you for asking me to be on. Like you said, Jenn Merriman. I am going to be 38 in June. So, like you said, my journey has been quite all over the place. You and I knew each other back in our party day, like
Yeah.
party days. Like I remember going out drinking all the time, met the boys' dad on Tinder. Like I feel like I've lived so many seasons of life. I feel like I've
Mhm.
experienced so much in such a short period of time. So I now have two boys. One is 8 and one is 6. And I work, single mom. My eldest has a disability. I do advocacy work due to that disability, started getting involved with local politics, trying to stand up for what's right in our, current, the way the world is right now. And so yeah, that's like the basis. Obviously, there's lots of little stories sprinkled in there on how I got here, but I'm sure we'll delve into some of those as we
Yeah.
as we talk.
Yeah. I'd love to dive right into specifically like because I know you and I are on the same page. We were talking about this before we press record. There is a piece of us that we were born with, and it's very similar, always asking questions. I got kicked out of Sunday school for asking too many fucking questions. And that's really when I started deconstructing religion overall. And I'm like, you guys know that Jesus didn't like religion either, right? We are all on the same page there. You're eating the body of Christ and drinking his blood. What are we doing here? Like, so many questions started to unravel. And it sounds like you were the same growing up. Now, that's like a building block of questioning what doesn't work in life and building better. Like, I really believe that people like us are the ones who are going to be kind of at the front line of like, okay, well, how do we change shit then? Like, it's one thing to call out the problem, it's another to bring a solution to the table and put it into place. So, what fucking solutions are we bringing in? But I have to know, like, outside of just having that instilled within you and it being part of who you are, what happened where you just woke up one day? Like, I know Killian has just
Mhm.
everything he's dealing with because it's beyond, it's the emotional weight that he carries of all of it. We were talking about the nighttime splints that he has to wear. With that, what made you wake up one day? What experience did you have? You're like, I have to have a fucking voice because I'm not going to be able to wait on anybody else. I have to do this for him.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, there's part of me that was always born. Like I remember being like my first memories of being conscious were just immediately questioning things and
Yeah.
pointing out injustices and I think, for a while I just became complacent living a normal life. And then obviously with Killian we got his diagnosis when he was a year and a half. So he has Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. So there's no cure. It's a muscle wasting disease. He also got diagnosed with a secondary disease, which is called CMT, Charcot-Marie tooth. His doctor in Iowa City has never seen somebody that has both. And that one, CMT, runs on his dad's side. So that one is a nerve disorder, a nerve degenerative disorder. So not only are his muscles breaking down, but his nerves are breaking down. So obviously that's like very heavy. There is a lot that comes with that, mourning what his life would look like. Their life expectancy is much shorter. And so going through all of this and then just like talking with his doctors, and I remember sitting in that room and um trying to think, they have like a social worker that comes in basically and helps you start applying for things that will like immediately right off the bat. You're like, okay, you got this diagnosis here, like, and it was so hard. They made the process so like not the hospital themselves, but it's the paperwork, the stuff that
Yeah.
goes to the government. Um, when he was a little bit older, I had to apply for like social security. Like I made too much to get money, but at least it kind of puts him like it's official documentation that he is disabled. It was the constant paperwork over and over again. Like making it difficult to get on anything. Like it was just crazy how difficult it was. Not only that, but I got to a point where I started working in health insurance and watching people constantly get screwed over and like really learning about health insurance and how it works and just seeing it and then experiencing that. I was like, dude, this is fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, like, what is going on? So it was like everything that I questioned when I was younger, it was just all like verified. Like, no,
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy. I wasn't being difficult. Like, this is messed up. And
Yeah.
I just naturally kind of been in leadership like roles my whole life. I just found myself there. And I always tell people it's because I don't shut the fuck up. Like,
Same.
my mom is literally like, Jen, enjoy this job that you have, that you just do clerical work. Don't open your mouth and don't do more than you need to because I always end up getting involved in more. And I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I can't help it. If something's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna point it out. So then I was in the doctor's office, like asking questions, and then they connected with me, the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And so they always call you to check, like, in all the families, they call, hey, do you have everything you need? Is there anything that you have questions about you need help with? And then if I start going off on the phone, like, this is insane. Does anybody do is there like anybody do you guys like talk to just like what is going on? She's like,
Yeah.
actually, we have an advocacy team with you, like asking all these questions. You would be perfect. And I'm like, great, sign me up, sign me up. And then they like advocacy team reached out to me. They got me connected with somebody. Obviously, we have a virtual meeting. I'm going on and on. She's like, "Would you like to come to Washington D.C. For our advocacy like meet?" This was back in November. Great. Went there. And they have like the CEO of the Muscular Dystrophy Association there. Obviously the head of like their lobbying, and they're the ones that help make the appointments to go speak to legislators and representatives. And they sat in on the one that I did. And they come out, they take me to dinner, the CEO of the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and then they asked me to be the captain of the state of Iowa for to be the advocacy captain for the state of Iowa. So
Girl.
again, because I can't shut up, and I asked them like, how much more responsibility is this? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I have so much on my plate. So they're like, it doesn't like it's basically just making connections with your state, like legislators, and just continuously keeping that conversation about the needs, of those with disabilities, especially muscular dystrophy and other muscular diseases. And it's yeah, so it's been like it all just happened. Like you said, like it's just a whirlwind. Everything it just kind of all
Yeah.
happens at once and happens so naturally. Um,
Yeah.
so literally that's how it was just like a snowball
Amazing.
effect. Um, and then that led into getting involved with local politics and not that I want to run. I learned some things talking to some other people and I was like, no, if I can't say what I want to say,
Oh,
like even the Democratic, I was like, yeah, no, too much control. Like I'm not,
dude,
no one's going to tell me what I can and can't say. Sorry.
can we park here? It doesn't have to be a stop or a stay, but it needs to be a stop. That's the fucking problem. There's many. What, like, there should be, in my personal, and I'm guessing your personal opinion, there should be no fucking companies that are paying for anybody to do anything. There should be no hush, hush,
So,
hush. Let's keep things that who's making these rules and when can we sit down and
so
nicely fucking talk to them?
I found out, I sat down with one of the candidates, the local candidate here that wanted some help with this campaign. And I was like, I am down. I have
Yeah.
never before until this year, like I was always independent. I
Yeah.
registered as a Democrat this year just
Yeah.
so I could go to a caucus because I'd never been to one and you have to be registered. So I'm like, whatever, sure.
Right.
So, anyways, I was talking to him and he was like, well, I have to raise this amount of money by this time and I have to do this and I can't say this or do this. And I'm like, who's making this rule? He's like, well, the Democratic Party of the state of like the state of, I'm like, what? Wait, what? You can't just be like, I'm a person, I'm standing up for X. Like you have other people controlling how, like, what? I don't understand. I don't, why? Why
Yeah.
is this a thing?
How did we
Again,
get
and with
here?
companies, like,
Yeah.
why is that allowed? Why are we allowing,
Money.
but why, like, what? Why?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why? It makes zero, it completely makes like everything that you're doing like is a moot point at that point. If you're
It's
bought and
corrupt.
paid for, no one can.
Corrupt. Yeah, like it's none of it's real. Like
Yeah.
none of it's real. It's so corrupt. It's so backwards. Like, but everybody pretends, well, pretended. I don't believe that it's everybody pretends anymore.
No.
I I've always been more independent myself as well.
Mhm.
Um, Never have found myself on the right very often, or even the far, well, not even the far right, never the far right.
Yeah.
I do lean more left, that is
Yeah.
for sure, because I lean more towards humanity. And I'm not trying to
Yes.
sound like an asshole, but like that's literally what creates the lean left for me is
Yeah.
I think that we could maybe evolve beyond apes and decide that we could try maybe, fucking compassion, all the things that actually, now that we're on the topic, Jesus fucking talked about, you guys. What the
Right.
fuck?
Freaking crazy. Crazy thoughts right there.
Wild concept.
Compassion. Whoa. Whoa.
Right. But like, I remember, like, I had a conversation with my father. I was running for one of the like seats in like grade school
Oh
politics,
yeah.
right? And I didn't really understand politics. I remembered my father at one point had mentioned at work, oh, it's the politics. And at a young age, I didn't understand the the word politics being used via work because of the behavior of politics versus the actual politics. So I was very confused and I was like, what does
Yeah.
this mean? What is life? And he basically sat me down. He's like, honey, you're going to end up basically having to do whatever somebody else tells you to do. Like, basically, world peace came up because that was one of the things I wanted to stand on as a small child, even as a small kid. I'm like, world peace is what we can achieve. And he's like, baby, world peace isn't, that's not possible. And he told me how it was very much a fairy tale. Living in that world is a very, very much a fairy tale. And it just never clicked for me because I was like, isn't it actually more of like a nightmare story to say that that's not possible? Isn't that a weird way to focus on reality? Like, and especially me being so hyper involved in like neuroplasticity work, understanding how nervous systems work, understanding how with quantum physics and how reality is created. Like, if you're always focusing on the fact that we'll never be able to live in love and compassion and war is the only
Then
way,
that's the reality you made.
bro, that's a crazy reality to make.
Yep.
A crazy reality. Like, I see that shifting though.
I do
Um,
too.
I think that fuck with every ounce of me, fuck that asshole that's in office right now with every ounce of who I am. The one good thing that he did is he opened people's eyes, I think, to what actually is the most disgusting, vile shit that we can't even like the Epstein files.
100%. That's what my
Like
mom,
people,
like I told you,
yeah,
like getting her to like change her mind. She said the same thing. She's like, he is horrible and awful. She's like, but I don't think as many people would be kind of awakening or like becoming cognizant or being forced to deal with
yeah,
it and having to make decisions on how they're going to handle this information that they have in front of them
yeah,
if him being in office didn't happen.
yeah. I was talking to my husband last night. We went out for Mexican food. We were sitting there, and it started because the gentleman brought our chips and salsa. We are former waiters, waitresses.
Yeah.
Did you ever work in the service industry?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, bro. It's a way of life. And once you're in the not for everybody, I suppose, but once you're in the service industry, you have a certain personality trait. And that
Yes.
personality trait topped with, like you were talking about, the absolute inability to be quiet when there's injustice. If I see somebody being rude to wait staff, I'll flip
Oh,
a fucking table, bro. And if you're being rude to wait staff that is learning how to speak English, they speak two languages. You speak one,
that's what
bro.
I tell people. I'm like,
Shut
your
up.
brain is so little, you can't even learn another language. So shh.
Right. Hush so hard. So he comes over, he drops off stuff, and we had already been in conversation about like what we understand scientifically speaking what creates somebody to be so inconsiderate and hateful, like understanding
Hmm.
from a science point, but like how do you go to a restaurant and you're just rude to the wait staff? How do you go there, especially to this guy? So then we started going deeper and deeper and it went into like the immigration talk, right? Of like,
Hmm.
oh, they need to come here legally. It's like you voted for a felon. Do you 1 plus 1 isn't equaling 6 right now, bud? And then it, of course, went into all the other things. And it was just like, we're talking about all this stuff on the table. And he's like, there's a lot of people out there that had these wishes for what they wanted him to be. Like, they made him out to be this, like, fucking redheaded John Wayne or some shit. And I'm like, first of all, I am the John Wayne queen. John Wayne would have whooped this motherfucker's ass so
Oh.
hard. He is nothing of the sort. He is the type of person who has told you who he is multiple
Hmm.
times, talked about the most vile things, talked about how smart people don't like him,
I was
literally.
just gonna say that. Yep.
Educated people don't like me. No shit, Sherlock, because if they do 5 minutes of research, they're like, this person's an awful human. Yeah, not even be human. He might be an actual piece of shit. Like, this is awful. And like, we're having this conversation, and he's like, do you think that it's going to change? Like, and he knows I have this possibly delusional and naive, unwavering optimism. Like I have such optimism that my focus is how cool is life going to be when all of the Epstein survivors and all of this sex abuse and all of these charges that are coming out, not just from the political aspect of life for us, but like I'm seeing it across counties. Like our county news, so many predators are coming out and being arrested. And I
Yes.
love that for all of us. But imagine when all of the victims get money from these
Mhm.
motherfuckers. Imagine when all of that money, all the lawsuits are settled, all of the coolest people are going to be the richest people on earth. And they're all going to be people who have been healing because they didn't have a fucking choice, unfortunately. They're all going to be people who are advocates. They're all going to be people who have a heart and a soul that is driving them towards change. Like, that's what I'm looking at. So we're sitting there eating Mexican, and he's like, damn, babe. And I'm like, I know. Like, this has to change because the nastiness has come out. We're all being forced to look at it. If you don't want to look at it, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. It's going to bleed into every area of your life. And once we all look at it together, then we can realize, hey, we're actually all the same. We all love the same. We all cry the same. We all eat food. We all
We
take
all have the
shits. We all
same
take a nap.
organs inside our
Bro,
body. Like,
like, are we on the same page with this? Like, do you feel the same way?
oh yeah. And I see it even like locally, like, um, I have no, I'm nervous for what will happen to get to that point,
Right.
but I have no doubt in my mind that that's where we're headed.
For
Like
sure.
that where we are headed, they always say it's darkest before the dawn, and that's 100% true. And but that is coming. Like I 100% believe and I see more and more. And
Yeah.
maybe like it's baby steps and it's been baby steps, but it's better than living the lie that we're living for so long. And another
Yeah.
thing too is people are becoming more educated on how propaganda works. They're
Yes.
becoming more educated, like
On
learning
tariffs.
about some of the things that our government does. Like,
Yeah.
oh, our government wouldn't lie to us. Well,
Whoopsie.
yeah.
Whoopsie
So I
daisies.
think, you know, I mean, obviously you're going to have some of those people who are like you're never going to be able to change their mind. They're complete delusional until they like something absolutely insane happens to them. But
That's the
I
thing.
feel like the majority of people are heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's also a reason why is because of things like this podcast, people like us talking about it, our social media, TikTok, even Instagram Reels now is kind of pushing more content like that. And I really think having that is so important. And I think that's part of them. I feel like sometimes they feel probably like they shot themselves in the foot. They want people to be addicted to these apps and stay on them all day. But it's also we're moving less to consumerism like we were maybe in like 2013,
Yep.
2015, and more to knowledge. And
Yeah.
that knowledge may or may not be great for them, but it's good for
Yeah.
us. So
Speaking of that, it just reminded me. So when we lived in Tennessee, this was probably 7 years ago now. There was a person that we knew, and it was right before TikTok came out, or maybe right when it came out. I don't know, but it was fresh. It was new. It was
mhm.
not really like widespread. And she had a family member that worked in the military, and she was on like this soapbox. She's like, my brother or whoever it was is in the military, and they've been told in the military nobody's allowed to have TikTok. Nobody can have it on their phone. It is like it's going to be
Mhm.
bad. It's going to do all this stuff. And now I'm like, interesting. It's super interesting when there's no one buying and paying for what we are allowed to say, similar to politics, oddly enough, when
Mhm.
there's no redacting anything. There's no taking it out when we can just all speak to each other. Like I've learned more about life on social media from other human beings like you and I who are like, hey, wasn't I taught this at a young age? Like this is what I have learned. Like all of these random pieces. And I've also learned more about the world, not only from international
Yes.
clients, which has been such a blessing in my life because I already knew about pop propaganda. I'm sure you
Yeah.
did as well. It's very obvious. We were both Green Day fans, so we
Oh,
were singing
right.
American Idiot a
I'm
long
like,
time ago.
literally, this was me, my growing up. Like,
Right. This was when I was 13. I was screaming, I don't want to be an American idiot at the
you're
top of
right.
my lungs. But like this entire movement that's happening, if we were able to get back to a space where we could all speak and we wouldn't have to worry about like you were saying before we press record, like, are we going to lose friends? Are we going to lose people who want to be around us? Like, not because they disagree with us, but because we have the voice, because we're willing to use the voice. A lot of people don't, they're like you said before, like, just be quiet, just don't make a scene, push it under the rug, act like it's not happening.
Avoidance.
Right.
Hmm.
Such fucking avoidance. But I feel like the people, if we could do that in person, that'd be fantastic more and more. I see it a little bit, but it's
Hmm.
still very odd when I'm around a lot of strangers. It's not really like you were saying, the people that I hang around with, it's the strangers. I'm like, we're just not talking about this, guys. We're just not going to talk about what's actually happening and affecting our lives. But when you go on social media, we're not scared to talk about it. We want to talk about it. We want to have this out in the open. And I feel
Hmm.
like us being on social media and being open and being honest and being transparent and like putting things out there, of course that's the threat, of course that's the biggest threat, is creating community, gaining knowledge, sharing knowledge. So of course
Yes.
back in Tennessee when that was happening, military was like, don't be on TikTok, don't do it. But of course they also pointed at somebody else who was like, it's because they're the enemy, they're the enemy. And
Exactly.
so yeah.
Why do you think they bought TikTok? Like they wanted so badly to buy it, and now they
Dude,
changed the algorithm, and now they can control what's pushed out to the FYP and what isn't. And it's interesting how much my For You page changed after the buyout.
yeah,
Tell me
it's crazy.
that you don't want me to see stuff without telling me. Like it's
Right.
remove all this stuff. I literally have to go search for it now.
Yeah.
It's just another way for them to say that they were doing like to keep us away from something. They can control it um, by lying to us and telling us that they're doing it for our protection. And
Feel
that's
like
what
I'm in
they've done.
another
That's what
abusive
they've done
relationship.
forever.
Dude, like it's like being in a shitty, and I don't necessarily want to say abusive, but
Like a
yeah,
controlling
it's like
relationship.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
I think that maybe that's why there's such a big upheaval right now is so many of us have, whether it was in the family, like parents or whatever, or if it was like a relationship outside of that, like a romantic relationship, a lot of us have been in relationships where we have had to understand when we are being manipulated,
Yeah.
when we are being lied to, like we have had
Uh,
to be able to scan the area and be like, this is what's real, this is what's fake, this is what's safe, this is what is
yep.
unsafe. And so pairing that with many other things like pattern recognition and common sense
Exactly.
and critical thinking, that leads to That's not right. This is wrong.
Hmm.
Duh. And if we all were able to do that, like Travis and I were talking about joining a lot of different groups that are in the area that are having these type of conversations, like
Yeah.
going and making these type of changes. And it's like how incredible to join these and be around people who aren't scared to say what needs to be said and they aren't okay with the avoidance. Like what an incredible opportunity. And that's what you do. Like
Hmm.
I want to go back into what was it like to go to Washington, D.C.? What was it like to be surrounded by people that will not shut up and that have a voice and that are angry enough to make change? Because I'm a big believer that angry women change the world.
Oh, oh, 100%. Girl, that's why people are like, how do you do it as a single mom? You're doing all this stuff and a kid with a disability. And I'm like, because like that's what women do. Like that's
Yeah.
what we do. It's literally in
Hmm.
our DNA. Like it's in our being.
Yep.
Um, DC was definitely interesting because that was during the shutdown. And so even the
Shit.
advocates, even the like the people who had like run this and like work in DC with the MDA were like, this is like we have never experienced anything like this. We don't know how it's going to be. And I knew this was what was going to happen. So I'm from Iowa, right? All of our
Yeah.
leaders are hardcore MAGA red. They've controlled the state for 10 years, right?
Right.
So all the Republicans were minus one. I will say Chuck Grassley was there, and he was the only one that met us in person.
Oh, wow.
Even
Well,
though I
that's
don't agree
nice.
with him, I was like, okay, I can at least give you some respect that
For
you
sure.
actually like most of the time you're meeting with their staffers. And I get that they're busy, but they actually sent all the Republicans home. They're like, oh, we're going home. We're going to be on vacation. So hardly any of the Republicans are there. And it's like, though, that's who we need to talk to because the people who are Democrats, they're all there still during the shutdown working and listening to the constituents, but they're already the people that are fighting for us. They already
Yeah.
know they're already fighting for us.
Yeah.
Who needs to hear us are the people that weren't there.
Right.
Imagine that. But we met with their staffers and it was great being surrounded by um, all different kind, and everyone advocates in a different way. You have
Yeah.
some people that do it with passion from anger. They have some people do it from just an education standpoint. And the one thing that we were reminded of is just, don't talk politics, remain bipartisan,
Hmm.
be respectful and kind. Like you're not there to argue, you're there to like share your story.
Yep.
And I agree that that is the most like important. That's what they said. It's like it's individual stories, but it's also to the point like I am very good at reading people. I am very
Yep.
good. I can feel I it's just something I can feel their energy right off the bat. And
Yep.
I can instantly know if my story's they're gonna take it to heart or if they're just like, okay, I'm doing this because it's my job. I have to listen to you and move along, which
Yeah.
is the majority of what I sat there and spoke with Chuck Grassley face to face, told him my story, and he goes, okay, and then moved on to the next person because we did it as a group.
Yikes.
Um, they have their mind made up about the bills they want to sign and what they want to do. They have their agenda from, their APAC supporters or whatever lobbyists are giving them tons of money. It's
Yep.
already decided. Um, so I think our efforts are important. We can't just stop doing it because we think that I mean, I'm like, they're gonna get sick of me. I'm gonna knock on their door. And I don't care if they're listening to me or not, I'm going to annoy them until they are forced to like hear what I have to say over and over and over again, like it's a record playing.
Yeah.
When I send them an email, they're gonna be like, oh God, this bitch again. Like,
Dude, that's what the fuck we need. I went on a rant. I run hot. So I'm an advocate that's very fiery,
I call
passionate.
them
I'll
a
get angry.
madvocate. Madvocate.
Bro, I run real hot. That's for sure. And I was running hot one night talking to Trav about just how it's wild to me to not see history, understanding what has happened now, and then even beyond that, to not understand the only fucking reason as women we can vote is because some loud, angry, pissed off woman wouldn't shut the fuck up. The only reason
That's
we can
it.
buy land, the only reason we can fucking have credit cards in our name, the only fucking reason we are seen
Mm,
as even where we are
yeah.
now is because some loud ass woman wouldn't shut the fuck up about some shit. That's the only reason we're here. And it's wild because I understand everybody has their own perspectives. I do respect that. I do not respect not seeing anything other than what you want to see. Like, if you only see, well, people should not be out in the streets. People should not be protesting. People should not be advocating. People should not be having a voice. How the fuck do you think we got to the point where we are now? It wasn't because we laid down. It wasn't because we laid back. It wasn't because we saw that it was okay for some people to have privilege and abundance and joy and health and not others. It's because somebody stood up and say, we're all fucking human beings. What the fuck are we doing right now? Like, home of the brave, land of the free.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it that way for everybody. How about we do that,
Yep.
though? How about we actually make this the land where the people who have fought for it and that risk their fucking lives are proud of the fucking country that they fought
See,
for?
and that's what makes me so frustrated because I'm sure you've heard this spin from the other side is like, oh, they hate America. Everyone's protesting out there. They hate America. And I'm like, actually, those people love America more
So
than
much.
you do because they are willing to fight and stand up for what they believe, like what America really is and like is supposed to be this whole time is supposed to have been about. And somebody that's fine, I mean, the easy thing is to run away, go move somewhere else. That's the easy thing.
Yeah.
Because you care about this country and you care about where it's headed and the children who will run this country someday, because we care about that, that's why we're doing that.
Yeah.
And those people are more American than like to me, that's how I
That's
like,
passion. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and I will say, full frontal honesty, there was a time in the last few years where at the top of my fucking lungs, I said, fuck this place. This place. Fuck this, bro. Like,
Oh, I've been there.
there have, yeah. But I'll always come back to, and I don't know that I have a choice, and I feel like you're probably the same. I'm always going to come back to what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I'm going to fucking stand here and I'm going to be loud, just like you. I'm going to be annoying. You're going to hear me in your sleep, motherfucker.
Right.
You're going to wish you never met me because sooner or later I'm going to break you. And then you're going to be like, how was I being such a silly goose before? Like, I don't
Hmm.
need you to believe what I believe because I certainly don't believe that
Yeah.
I'm right on everything. I fuck
No.
up all day, every day.
Yeah.
But there is a moral line. Like, what is happening right now, I think, has brought the moral line forward. And you and I agree on the fact that this is nothing to do with left versus right, that it
No.
doesn't have anything to do with that. That's
Nope.
actually the wildest perspective to have, I think,
Yeah.
is
I
that it
mean,
is
you're
left
falling
versus
right
right.
into the trap at that point. That's what they
Yeah,
want you to think.
it is human beings, it's human rights, it's us remembering our fucking humanity and what's morally wrong and what's morally right. And like,
Hmm.
if the only reason that you don't care is because that it hasn't affected you yet, it will. And
Exactly.
if you are at that point pissed off because nobody's listening to you, that is called karma, is what that is called. Like,
Hmm.
we all have to stand up together because there's like this there's a painting, like a mural that I saw on a brick building in a meme, and it's like all these fish swimming away and they're all separated and there's this big shark coming at them, but
Yeah.
then they all form together as a big fish themselves and they chase the shark. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's it, guys. That's it. Like, we
So
just have to come together.
it's 100. So even, and it makes so much sense. But one of my favorite movies growing up, and I watched it over and over and over again, was A Bug's Life. And when Hopper explains, and I'm like, see, Mom, this is what I'm telling
Dude,
you about. Like literally,
yeah.
that's us. We're the ants. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, does anybody remember
Dude,
this?
I had a conversation with a good friend of mine about how it has to be not right now. This was maybe 6 months ago. I don't think this could even be accurate now. But it takes a level of not wanting to know the truth. Because we grew up on Harry Potter, bro. We grew up
Hmm.
on Bugs Life. We grew up on Hunger Games. We grew up on Star Wars. We know what villains do, bro. We know what the bad guy does. We know what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it smells like. We fucking know. And if you see what's happening and you're like, I don't think that's bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
We literally grew up being taught to stand up to those things. All of our movies, like
Yeah.
you just mentioned, all it's literally standing up for what's right. If you have to sacrificing your personal, comforts
Yeah.
to stand up, like literally, that's the shit that we have been brought up, and they expect us not to do anything.
Bro, I'll
That's
be
why you
so
see,
loud.
that's why you see like so many of like our generations are a lot of the ones and the
Yeah.
younger generation too. The younger
Yeah.
generation just automatically knew. I feel like they were born with bullshit detectors. Like they know
Yep.
it's all bullshit.
I love
That's
that
what I've
about them.
experienced from the younger generation at least. But a lot of millennials, like so many of us said, like we, watch 9/11 on our TV screens and
Yep.
like we have been like that's how we grew up. Um, so like they can't expect this younger generation. That's why all you got all these old fogies holding on to office for as long as freaking possible. Like I said, Chuck Grassley for Iowa, he is 93, 94, and he just stated that he is gonna run again. That man will die in office.
My dude, you
Yes,
okay? I'm
I know.
in the most respectful way possible. At 93 years old, you are no longer living in what the world is. You are living in what the world was. You are so far out of touch with what is
100%.
actually happening in the world. You actually lost touch what was actually happening in the world, not your world. Because if you're in office, you're looking at your world then and how the
Yes.
world was in 1940. The world
100.
right now doesn't need you in charge. It needs the kids younger than you and I,
Exactly.
Jen. It needs the fucking 19-year-olds to be stepping in because they're the fucking future.
100%. So when people shit on like progressives and they hear, oh, you're progressives, I'm like, okay, wait a second. Progressing means moving forward, moving with the time. So what do you want us to stay stagnant? Do you want us just to continue, just to live how we always like the world is changing whether we like it or not. And you either what do they say? You either, adapt or die.
Quite literally.
Like
Like it shouldn't be that hard
you
either to
cannot keep
understand that.
holding on. Like they are just holding on to this like golden age when everything like worked for them and they're like, oh yes, let's keep, like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no, that's it's gone. Like you have to be willing to look at things a different way and have other options and think outside the freaking box for solutions. And they don't want to do that. They don't have the mental like they're not they need they're done. Thank you for your service and your time. Maybe you
Yep.
did some really great things earlier in your careers, but it's time to pass the torch.
You have to. Beyond it's the same energy, at least I believe, it's the same energy as greed. It's the same energy,
It
but
is greed.
it's laced with desperation and fear because
Oh, yes.
you like if I was in office at 70, the ripe old age of 70, which like my grandma's beyond that age. Like it's not like old, but it is not have office old. If you could not work at Hy-Vee, I don't want you in office. Okay? Don't think you should be there.
It's
If I was in office at 70 years old and I started to recognize that the way that I believe or I think things should be ran no longer apply to the world in the way that it is, instead of saying, well, I'm going to hold on to this because I want to keep it because I want things to be my way and feeling desperate to hold on to it, I would say, you know what? I'm going to take my ego and I'm going to set it over here and maybe even do a little shadow work and maybe some motherfucking healing and maybe deal with the shit inside of me instead of projecting it on everybody other than
oh my
myself.
gosh.
I'm going to take that and set that over here and I'm going to pass the torch because in my heart of hearts, I know that that's
Believe
what's
that's
right to do
best. Hmm.
for everybody, not just
And
for me.
100%. Like I am like they are so worried about like losing their comfort. And like we're seeing, like I'll dig and see like how much money, like any candidates and stuff, like how much money they like most to me, I explain it like it's running um like a corporation, right? Or a business.
Yeah.
I have always hated the bosses, the CEOs that come in and tell you how to do your job, but they've never done your job in their life. They just
Yeah.
randomly got put in there. And employees hate that. They want somebody that understands the job that they do. And if they haven't, what they should be doing is going to the employees and be like, what's your ideas on how to make this better? Because you're the one doing the job every day. That's
Yeah.
what I did when I was the director of quality and risk at a hospital. Like if I had to change policy or procedure, I went to the people on the floor doing the job. I'm like, I would love to hear feedback. Tell
Yeah.
me, tell me what's hard, like what's hard, what you think would make it better. And the people that we have leading or running, our country, they have never lived a day in our shoes. They've always had money. They've always had their cushy government health care. They like, why do I want somebody telling me what to do and writing policy for the rest of us that has never had to live like us?
Yeah.
Or in the aspect, if they have, they're not willing to learn.
Right.
And I'm like, how make that make sense? Because we
It
all
doesn't.
know that that makes for a shitty company to work for and a failing company. So why don't we apply that to the way we run our country? Like,
Well,
I don't.
I got so much here. I got so much here. This, first of all, I'm gonna ask you right now, will you please come back many times? And can we
Yeah,
just fucking jam on these conversations? Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
I'm down.
So I've always been a big believer when you have a CEO, their internal struggles, that is, become the culture of the company, no matter what. If
Mhm.
you have someone who does not have emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, doesn't have self awareness, doesn't have an open mind or a broad mind or the ability to learn or the desire and willingness to learn beyond their own scope and
Mhm.
perspective, that will bleed into the company. That company will fail. That's what will
100%.
happen, which is why when all of the things started happening, I was like, this shit's not going to work. But unfortunately, we're in the boat that's going to sink,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Um, And when it comes to the leadership, one of the questions I have here was, what does moral, ethical, and community driven leadership look like for us? Like to talk about that, right? To
Mhm.
go back and forth. And when you were talking about not living in our shoes, one of the things that again, maybe it's like naive optimism. I believe that the coolest thing in the world would be if we had a little bit of everybody in office, right? I think take this or leave this, anybody.
Mhm.
I think farmers need to be in office and they need to be the ones running shit. Nobody works harder than farmers. Nobody understands hard work more than farmers. Nobody feeds our fucking country more than farmers. Nobody has the heart and the passion more than farmers. And I know farmers that were 100% behind this bullshit. And now they're like, we were lied to. And I'm like, then get mad about it.
That's
Get
what's
real
happening
mad.
currently in Iowa. So
Yeah.
we had so many farmers that were very supportive, and now they're like, they screwed us and got pissed. We are seeing more farmers, more union
Good.
members running for office. We are
Love that.
having real people running for representatives. It's
Good.
happening. And it's happening in the states that it needs to happen in.
Keeps me in
And
my day.
so we are finally getting people. And we also have we have a leader who is literally a doctor.
I
So
love
like
that.
that's what I think. Like we need people who are in these type of like positions. And I agree, we need different regular everyday Joes,
Bro.
union
Give me
members,
the
like
welder. Give me the farmer. Give me the fucking hairstylist from down the road. Give me
a little bit of
humans.
everybody.
Yeah.
Let's like it, and along with like that question of like what does it mean, and having that open mindedness, and I think empathy and the ability to create actual connection with people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, uh, especially with more things like social media and the way we have relied on technology, the way we connect with human beings face to face has become
Yeah.
kind of like a an art. I mean,
Yeah.
people that can do it like can do it, and people that it's is my mic being funky?
No, no,
Okay,
not at all.
it's my
On your end,
thing.
it is.
It's the feedback, I think, from my thing. I just wanted to
Oh,
make
I
sure.
got you.
But it is so like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is creating those relationships, being able to meet people where they're at, have an open mind to be able to list, like shut up, stop talking and listen, digest the
Yeah.
information that they're giving you. Um, make it be not about you. Take, like you said, take removing your ego. Like especially when you become a public servant, like
Yeah.
that's what it's about. And so many people have lost that ability, or they just don't want to. Like we have a representative for our state at DC, Marianne Miller Meeks, and she refuses to talk to her people because they ask her hard questions and she doesn't want to deal with it. She will not, I'm not talking to you. I will not hold town halls. I will not do, she won't do it. So I'm like, but that is completely negates like the
That's a
reason why you're in
non-negotiable.
office.
Yeah.
And so I really think that that's the type of like the lead, like it really comes down to, do you like people? Do you care about people? Are you
Right.
able to connect with people? Are you able to remove yourself and maybe look at things differently? Do you have an open mind? Because, like you said, I don't know everything. I am more than willing if somebody's able to provide like fact, fact based, not, I don't want your random, um, like things that you share on Facebook that are from fake websites. Like I like
Right.
real information. I am more than willing to digest that information and accept that I'm wrong or change my outlook on something. But
Exactly.
people who are not like that, that's not what we're seeing representing us. Yeah.
That's
So I
dying
think
off though. Do you
that's
think? Do
hmm?
you think that's dying off?
Well, so from what I'm seeing for the people, like we have so many big like things happening, like election, midterm, like, and I'm starting to get more content from other states and stuff too. And I'm seeing more and more like of the like people are sick and tired. And I
Yeah.
know sometimes it feels like it's just us or our small group of people that we know, but I am seeing it not like only like just here and people that are like running and speaking up, but I'm seeing it all over.
Yeah.
Even when I went to my very first caucus, like I'd never gone to one. I walked in and was like, I don't know what this, I had to look up what a caucus was. I didn't fucking know.
I would have had to look it
I'm
up
like,
too.
what's a cactus? A
Yeah,
cactus?
that's a weird
Caucus.
name also.
Yeah.
Caucus.
And
Sounds like
so,
I'm from
and
Brooklyn.
they stated this was the most people they ever had come to one because there was that many people that were just like, and it was just people right off this in our people that are teachers, people are like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And so, and I know if it's happening in Iowa, that it's happening other places.
Right.
So, I have a lot of hope. I really feel that that's, I mean, I'm honestly to the point, if we have to burn it all down and start over, let's do it.
I'm in.
Like,
I'll bring matches and gas and the
right.
playlist. We'll jam. I mean, I feel like, and I know you had mentioned, I don't know if it was before we pressed record or after, but you had mentioned, you don't want to ever run for office or anything like that. And I do respect that, but I just want you to know, like you would be an amazing person to have in any office. Like we need this type of energy and not the type of energy, like you said, that's either left or right, the type of energy that is for humans.
Hmm.
Bottom line, the type of energy that is for what's right for all and best for all. And to be able to create this type of change and to stand up against what's wrong. I think one of the big rants I went on by myself in the house during my workday recently, like I was stomping around the house screaming, it was a full rage release I had to do, was I'm so tired of nobody. That's not exactly it, but that's what I said because I was pissed. But I'm
Right.
so tired that nobody's standing up and saying, I have the balls to say this is fucking wrong. Like this is wrong. Like I know that there are people that are. I know that I don't see it every day. I know that I don't see it in person every day. But I just wish I saw more of it. I wish I saw more people standing up for what's right and more people saying, I changed my mind. I was wrong. This I see clearly and I know it's there. But like I have this dream that one day, like all the fucking bikers, right? Like all these like big strong men and bikers, all the fucking blue collar workers, all the fucking farmers, all these fucking men that like the type of men you and I grew up with, right? Like these fucking strong motherfuckers, mentally, physically, they're just like, we're gonna take over now. Like I just have this dream that it's just gonna be the type of the type of humans, and not just men, but I feel like sometimes, unfortunately, there's a specific type of man, if that's what you want to call them, that only listen to other men. They don't
There.
listen to women. And I feel like, unfortunately, that tends to be what's in control and in leadership more than it should. I don't understand how we're still there in 2026, but unfortunately, that is still a little bit of live. And I just feel like if more men stood up and said, we're making this change happen, because right now, it feels, at least to me, that it's a lot of women. It's a lot of women that are very loud. And I just wish that more men would get on board. And again, I know there are like the men that are listening that are like, I'm here, I'm fucking listening to this
Yeah.
podcast. Like, I know, but like, talk to your fucking buddies. Like, I saw a thing recently online that said, in 2026, you're not allowed to hang out with us, bro, because you cheat on your wife. That kind of energy, but with politics, but also that energy everywhere else. Like, call
Yeah.
people out when they're doing shitty things.
See, I am lucky. So my boyfriend is absolutely amazing, and he is one of those guys. Like
I love that.
he is so great and one of the best humans I've ever met. But it's 100% true. And even he's like, Men don't like, it's like they're afraid to like be weak, but like he'll be like, that person's a shitty person. Like he'll call like that guy's a shitty person. He'll,
Yeah.
be like, I don't like that guy. And like I don't know what some of these like, and even if they did feel that way, they don't want to talk about it out loud. And I get
Yeah.
it's whatever they're, fragile, masculine, whatever. But it's time. What I would like to happen, like you said, maybe they could help get other men on board, and then they're like, we're going to take over, and then they put a female in. Be like, you guys have had your chance.
But yeah.
You're done. Great, great effort. Great try. Here's your participation trophy. Now let's get some
Yeah.
work done.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm hoping that that's eventually
Yeah.
where we're headed. And I'm not very much like, oh, women need to take over everything, but it's like
No,
we tend to have, like we
we're
talked about, like
good
me
leaders.
as a mother,
Yeah.
like I am running as a single mother too. I am making sure everything's ready for my kids. I am going to billions of doctors, not billions, lots of doctors' appointments, and I am working and I am in leadership roles and I am doing like it's just naturally how we work. It's like it's like for the majority, not all,
No,
but and I think that I don't know. I'm ready for that. I'm ready
I
for
am
that,
too.
you know?
Well, because like when you think of leadership, like, and I feel like, I don't know, I see it as men and women will never be fully equal because we bring completely different things to the table.
Yeah,
Like,
100%
completely different things. And that's literally what it's supposed to be.
supposed
Like,
to
we're not
be.
supposed, like, should we be treated with equal respect if we're respectable humans? Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
that shouldn't even be in question. Why is that in
That,
question? That's weird. But like,
yeah,
no, I can't do exactly what a man can do. A man can't do what a woman can
exactly.
do. Like, and that's good. And I
Yeah.
think that seeing that women, we are natural leaders. When you think of what a leader understands what's going on all around. A leader has forward thinking abilities. A leader is able to see the past but not repeat the past.
Mhm.
A leader creates connection. A leader creates an even playing ground. A leader does by well, a leader leads by doing. A leader doesn't point and say, go do this thing I'm telling you to do right now. A leader says, do you see what the fuck I'm doing? Do this with me. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of men do that, and I know a lot of incredible men that are leaders, but I also know that right now we are in a society that centers men in a way. It's very patriarchal, very patriarchal. It
Hmm.
is a patriarchal system. And that centers men in a way. And if we shift into more of a matriarchal system, that actually centers children. Matriarchal
Yes.
systems. And I think the only reason that there is this fear behind women being in charge is because the people that fear that know that they maybe kind of feed off of or tend to take away rights from people that maybe don't look like them, maybe don't have their skin color, maybe don't have the same genitals as them, maybe don't have the same thought processes as them, right? So they have this fear of like, no, if they are in charge, if they're the majority, then they're going to treat us the way we treated them. But
That
that's not the fucking
nail.
thing.
Yep.
Dude, it's like no, that's just your internal struggle. You have this fear that if other people take over, they're going to treat you as shitty as you treated them, when in reality, you're just
That
shitty. And when women get in charge, women center children, and women center children's safety, women center the earth's safety, and women aren't going to strip your rights away the same way you have attempted to strip our rights away, because your rights don't change state to state.
right.
Ours do.
That is like 100%. what I have said. And it's the same with like how they're stripping away like DEI and stuff like that. And it's literally because I'm like, why are you so afraid? And it's because you're afraid that they're going to treat you as shitty as like you were afraid to be the minority. Like you are afraid of being the minority because you think that like you saw that we what we have done in the past and you're afraid it's going to happen to you. And ew,
Dude, your
ew.
fear is showing. And like, we are a country built on many things, many good things and many shit ass things.
Mhm.
And like, if we look at epigenetics, for instance, we know for sure that certain things are passed down through, especially with mothers, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at the womb. Okay, well, imagine, I can't even imagine, but try to imagine the type of healing and the level of healing that has to be done for a Black woman or a Black man because of all of the slavery and all of the violence, especially if it happened in their family. But also the epigenetics of the fucking people that owned and did that. Those people still have that within them. So when you see people acting a certain way, like I see it in such a broad spectrum. When I see somebody that's super, let's say, racist or super against DEI, and I'm like, I want to understand you. Tell me why you feel that way. Get like, let me have a conversation with you to see where you're coming from.
Hmm.
And eventually it gets to a point where I'm like, it's deep within you. It's so deep within you because you're so scared of what either you have done or you have said to someone, or maybe it's even as deep as epigenetics. It's deep within your core of like, my fucking great granddaddy did some shit to somebody, and there's like this fear I don't quite understand inside of me. Like, what is it within you that has a fear of other people being equal to you? It's a wild thing. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I see it from the shallow end of the pool where I'm like, oh, you're kind of just a dick because you think that you're above others in a certain
Hmm.
way. But then to see it deeper, I'm like, oh, there's this weird thing that runs through your system. And that's very odd that you haven't taken the time to look at the reason why you have so much hatred for other
Yeah.
people and recognize that it's because you hate yourself.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy to me. Like, I don't know how, and it's just been now, I get like for me and people that I know that when they realize, like sometimes they don't realize they're doing something shitty or they have done something that is harmful to somebody else, or the way they think.
Yeah.
And those people I know, like once they realize that fact, they're willing to like do the work. Man, okay, crap. Why have I been like this? How long have I been like, whoa? And they do that introspective work. But there's so many people, like, I think there's so many people that don't even know like, they don't even know how to begin to do that. It's the same type that refuse to go to therapy because they think it's all mumbo jumbo,
Dude,
like
it
it's
is.
the same. I don't know why they're so afraid of their emotions or learning why. They just don't, again, avoidance. They don't
Yeah.
want to do it's big feelings. And that's
Yeah.
something like as a single mom to two boys, I will tell you, I refuse to bring up little fucking assholes that are
Dude.
like that, that do not know how to handle their emotions or to know when to stop and look at their emotions.
Yeah.
Both of them are Brecken, my youngest, does therapy every other week. They have a therapist that's in their school. And then
Oh,
Killian
nice.
goes to therapy weekly. Brecken started going because he got diagnosed with ADHD and he was like not able to sit still. So when we started him on some meds, I know that meds aren't the only thing that fixes it. So I wanted
Yeah.
him to have somebody to talk to as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so not only that, but like on our Make-A-Wish trip, he was realized he was like, why do all these kids get some of these things and I don't? And I had to
Mm-hmm.
tell him, like, how do you tell that your 6 year old that his brother is gonna die?
Yeah.
And so I had to be like, baby, like these kids are not gonna live. Like some of them do, but like your brother is. And he looked at me and he was in bed with me that night. He's like, my brother's gonna die. And then him having to live with that,
Goodness.
like, so that's another reason why I wanted to get him into therapy because that
Yeah.
boy, that child, my youngest, is very sweet, but he has a lot of very, very big emotions and a tiny, tiny little body. And his anger gets very like, and I'm like, we're doing something about that now. I want you to know that therapy is normal. I want you to know that like maybe you're really angry because you're actually feeling sad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're feeling like, and so we talk about it. And I think I'm so glad that that's something that's normalized now because I know so many men were not raised that way. And I know that's
Yeah.
part of the problem. I know that. And
Yeah.
so it's like a lot of, and what I'm learning, like one of the things that broke my heart when he was like, I'm like, is there anything that mommy can do to like maybe make like, what would make your day just a little bit better that I could do that maybe help you? And he's like,
Yeah.
all I want is for you to play with me.
Hmm.
He just wanted me to
Heartbroken.
play with his little action figures with him and some Legos. And I've
Like that's
tried in the
all.
past as a single mom, like I know that sometimes Killian needs more attention. And so it's like it's just like little simple things like that. I was not growing up that way. My parents were like, get out of the house. It's nice out. Come back at
Yeah.
dark, you know? Like
Yeah.
and we all like, so it's like, man, that I can do that. And I set my phone now. I set an alarm on my phone and I put for 15 minutes because sometimes that's all I have. And I tell him, I'm like,
Yeah.
mommy can't play with you all night. And I know it's all up, but mommy's got laundry to do and I got to clean up dinner. And like literally, I don't sit down. I get home from work at 5 and I don't even get to sit down till like maybe 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It would
so
it
like
wouldn't make sense if you did.
right, right. And so I'm like, mommy can put I could put an alarm on my phone and I do 15 minutes. And that has helped tremendously. He feels
Yeah.
he gets that special one-on-one time. The therapist told me, she's like, Brecken's doing so good. We were putting him down to every other week. Killian, because he's becoming more aware of his disability and he's had some major bullying issues. Luckily, that's been taken care of, but it was bad. He's the only, they're calling him wheelchair boy and like taking his wheelchair ways in it and pushing him around, which when you have a disability, that's like an extension of your body. That's like
Yeah.
if you were to go up to somebody, pick them up and move them somewhere that they don't want to be,
Yeah.
So he's also to the point he's always been very like positive, but he's like me where like shower time is like his time to decompress. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I still have to help him shower. He can't do
Yeah.
that on his own. So that's our time to talk. And this year is the first year that he started like breaking down and going, I don't have any friends.
Oh my
School's hard.
gosh.
Everyone makes fun of me, everything. He's like, I don't want to have, we call it sick muscles. It's an easy way for him to understand. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't want to have sick muscles. I want to do what everybody else does, like
Oh my
bawling. And
gosh.
I'm like, oh man, it's like, I knew it was kind of like where he's like finally at that age where he's more cognizant of how it really truly affects him.
Yeah.
And so he, like I started him in therapy. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a lot for you. And I knew that therapy was something I always wanted him to be in anyways, because that's a lot
Yeah.
for, especially a child. God, like
Yeah.
most adults haven't had to deal with that. Um, and so he, and that has helped. I mean, sometimes he doesn't want to talk to me. Sometimes they're more willing to open up to, like, oh, like he sees like how like he is very aware. So he sees how much I do. And so I
Yeah.
think sometimes he's like, it's okay. I don't want to, talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, talking about that and tying that back into like the like male and like the female like naturally and like I'm hoping I'm raised like I'm trying so hard to be raising that generation of boys who that's normal and they are able to look at somebody and feel empathy and they
Yeah.
are able to put themselves in other people's shoes and listen to people and have an open mind and that's yeah so that's it's not easy but
No. Well,
yeah.
and like you were saying, people around us, and I agree, like it's very rare that I have people anymore, especially in the last many years, I've really cleared my life out of anyone that I was like, maybe this was not a good relationship, or maybe
Mhm.
maybe we have grown apart in different ways. So it's very rare that I have anybody. Sometimes it's family because family is more difficult, like people that are just like openly racist or openly
Yeah.
homophobic or like openly just full of hate. Um, in a really weird, awkward way that they project it. Um, but my biggest focus, especially in this conversation, is people that are in leadership. Like, if you're making laws that stem from your hate, and your inability to see things from any perspective other than yourself, or even worse yet, if you're making laws stemming from shame because of who you are and what you've done, so you make laws so you don't have to be in trouble. Like
Hmm.
there's it's one thing for it to be in our communities, but there's going to be one or two people from all of our communities that ends up leading in one way, whether it is Congress, House, maybe even president, the fucking
Hmm.
state, especially because there's so many people that are in offices within state government. And those people, I feel like there needs to be some sort of a test. I also feel this way about law enforcement. I feel this way about many things. If you are in any way a public servant, there should be some sort of a test beyond your intellect. And maybe we go into your emotional intellect. Maybe we go into your emotional ability to connect with not only yourself, but other humans. Maybe we ask about empathy. Maybe we identify whether or not you hate others. Like,
Hmm.
I just, I know that we're getting there because I don't think the generation younger than us is going to allow anything else, which I
Oh.
love about them. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like that's our job as humans. We have two jobs, really, and three jobs. We have to take care of the kids, we have to
Hmm.
take care of the earth, and we have to
Yep.
take care of each other. That's
Yeah.
fucking it. Like, anything else is kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, and if we continue to take care of the children the way that many of us are, like even more so than ever. Like, I don't care if it's a kid I've never seen in my life. I will turn into a mama bear so motherfucking fast. I
100%.
I will sever and I will burn a bridge while I stand on it to protect a child. I don't care.
Hmm.
Just to show you I can swim. I don't give a fuck. And if we had more women like that, more men like that, and when we do, I think that's going to be the big wave that eventually affects the way things are ran because people run the system. And the more real people we get in place, the more real people are running the system farmers, blue collar
Hmm.
workers, teachers. Those are going to be the people that have hearts and compassion that they lead with. And I think that that's where we're headed. And it brings
Hmm.
me to a big question I have for you when it comes to the legacy that you want to leave behind because of all of the things that you have been doing for Killian, for well, both of your sons, of course, but especially for Killian, all of the
Hmm.
things that you've been doing for other mothers and other families like yourself, and then especially now moving into a space of a more political view and recognizing that this goes much bigger than the shitty insurance companies that, thank goodness, are changing. What do you want to leave behind as your legacy?
Um, Good question. I will say the first thing that I always wanted before I got into this, leave behind was I wanted somebody to look back and be like, damn, she lived a life. Um, it People always ask me, so just quick for like the listeners, like I was a makeup artist for years. I did stand-up comedy. I was a burlesque performer. I did so many other things. I was a cake, like literally random crazy things before I even got here. So my like people are like, oh, you just, try everything. Why, or why are you changing your job career or whatever? And it's like because when I get old, I don't want to ever look back and say, I wish I would have. And it
Exactly.
same comes to with the legacy and the standing up. I don't want to look back on my deathbed and be like, I wish I would have said something. I wish I would have done something. And honestly, the only real thing that I feel like I want my legacy to be, because I don't know if I'll be important to other people, but the people I know I'll be important to are my kids. And that's what I want my legacy to be. I want them to be like, take what I have done and learn from it and be that way. I want them to be comfortable speaking up and doing what's right. Uh, you know, I could see my youngest doing something he loves his brother so much. So he
Oh,
is my youngest is very much like me, very people person, likes being like center of attention. He has no problem. Killian is
yeah,
a lot more reserved. And so I could see him being somebody like that that's an advocate for others because he has that lived experience. And that is what I want. That's why I do what I do. Not only for my kids and like other families, I want them to have the empathy to see how like they live this life, they know how it affects other people and want to do something to either help so other people do not have to live the way that or experience the things that they have. But really at the end of the day, that's why I do what I do. Not only for my kids physically, but for my kids as a role model. And I know some people are like want to become big leaders and like big, like I don't care if I become big or famous or make this huge footprint, but maybe one of my children will. Maybe my,
Yeah.
they will have an impact from, something I did or, they learned from me. Really at the end of the day, it's just passing that along because if I was, somebody that didn't what like and they didn't watch me stand up for these things and go advocate for them and do this, like they wouldn't know. Like it's
Yeah.
not like they're taught to do that in school. They're not taught any like they're only going to know by like watching me do it. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, I hope what I do helps other families and I hope to God like it gets to that point where it affects a larger group of people than my kids, but even if it's just my kids and someone to look up to, like their mom,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me. So
Well, I'm reaching for the ceiling for you,
yeah.
girl. Like, yeah, obviously you're boys, but like you and your passion and your dedication and your ability to not just have empathy, but to have intelligent empathy, to have that critical thinking that's so important right now. That's what we need in so many
Hmm.
places. And you know, we also just need really, really fucking loud women. We need it. We need it really, really bad. We need women who are willing to not shut up. We need women that, when they're told to shut up, they're like, go fuck yourself. How
Right.
about that? How about
Yes.
you fuck yourself, buddy? Like, we need that courage. We
Mhm.
need that boldness. We need the women who are willing to stand up, even if it means they get beaten down because they're willing to stand back up over and over again. And
Yep.
like we all have our different reasons, right? Like you have your boys, I have my kiddos, and I also have my nieces and nephews. Like when
Hmm.
I think of Rye looking at me, like she's going to be graduating high school. When I think of her looking at me, I'm like, I hope she's so fucking proud. I
Hmm.
hope she looks at me and she sees my flaws because she understands we all have
Yeah.
them, of course. But I hope she's like, that's bonus mom, or that's Heather. Like the fuck yeah, like that's
Yeah.
cool. Like I know that like I know Landon like has talked to me about things before, and I know he has his feelings as well. Like they're both such amazing kids. But like the younger ones, like my nieces and nephews, one of my nieces, not to go too deep into a story, but like I had a conversation with a family member and it was a really odd conversation where they basically said like I hope my child doesn't end up like you. I hope my child doesn't feel like they have to move away or they don't desire to, or I hope that they don't do what you did. And I sat there with it. I'm like, that's an odd thing to say. It's an odd way to feel, but I hear you. Like okay,
Yes.
sure. Um, but it made me laugh because I look at the child and I'm like, she's following right in my footsteps. She's like, I'm loud. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I mean, it might hurt my feelings, but I'm still gonna go do the thing. Like, are you
Right.
crazy? Like, and to know that like these kids and your boys, like, it's so important that they see strong women. It's so important that they see brave women. And I'm a big believer that strong women is what brings out the best in a lot of places, whether it's community or at work. Because when you see a strong, confident, loving, compassionate woman, it sets the stage for what is possible, especially if
Hmm.
they're in a leadership position. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you
Oh,
for not just being a role model for your boys, but also a role model for the girls in my family and the boys, but just for everybody. Like, it's just so inspiring to see whenever you go and you do things like at Washington, D.C., or when you're talking about politics and you're being very honest about it and you're looking at it from all the different angles and presenting all of the different pieces of information. It's very refreshing. So, I have one last question for you. Do you have time for one last question?
yes, I do.
How has Killian inspired you?
Oh God. I mean, Killian, yeah, Killian's existence in general, right? He was a miracle baby. Like they looked at my when I got pregnant with him, they're like, have you ever had like miscarriages or hard like time getting pregnant? And I had been married before, so and that, and I kind of had my moment of, so I was always surprised that I didn't end up, and they're like, well, this is why you never did, because I had like a heart-shaped uterus, and they're like, usually like they're not, doesn't have as much room to grow and not as viable. And so the fact that I had him to begin with, and honestly, say like if I didn't have him, I would still be drinking and partying. And I was like a mess before him, right? So I never even wanted kids. So he changed my view completely before his disability, right? Just his
Yeah.
existence in general. And he did not walk till he was almost 2. And thank God for his doctor to be like, hey, I want my kids walking by 15 months. They weren't one of those like, oh, they'll get there in their own time, right? So
Yeah.
ever since he was a baby, like even though he constantly fell, he couldn't even sit up, like just sit up without having to have a pillow or something propping him
Oh,
up because his little muscles, he didn't have strong
yeah.
enough core. And so he would literally, if he didn't have a thing, he would just topple over. But he kept getting up. And same with like the walking. The day there's a video and my mom caught it. I like the day he started walking and I literally started hyperventilating, like crying.
Yeah.
And that is like Killian, like he is very like reserved and maybe he's not as outspoken as me, but that little even since he was like just gets up and just go. Like he does not like school. And he gets up and he goes, he's like, yeah, I know. He had like right now it's only once every 3 months. So there was a time he was getting his blood taken, it was every week. And he used
Oh
to be
my
terrified of
gosh.
needles. And now he's like, yeah, it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
he is very like just such a strong kid and he's so funny. And I don't even know how I would have handled. Like I think about that. Like if I was a kid his age, like
Yeah.
even though he has his moments, like he finds joy in the things that he finds joy in. And it's not just a little amount of joy. It's like he loves video games. Like I'm not like
Yeah.
the joy. Oh, he gets so passionate when he talks about it. He's like, Mom, and I act like, because I
Right.
want to match his joy. I don't want to be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Although
Right.
sometimes, uh, and I just feel like that's how I view like when you start talking about like advocacy and stuff and people not listening to you, but you do it anyway. It's literally, I watch my son live it every day. And it's
Yeah.
only going to get harder for him. And it's only like, I know he doesn't know, but I know what's waiting for him. And every time we get to a point where I know, like, okay, we just got his power wheelchair,
Yeah.
that was hard because that means his getting worse. So he needs
Yeah.
the power wheelchair and he only needs it like part time. But instead of him viewing it the day he got it, instead of well, he tried it out. We haven't gotten it yet, but he tested it out. Me, I'm sitting there like looking at it like, man, I like this is like sad. Like it's progressing. Having to get more and more things. He, on the other hand, wasn't upset that he had to get it, that he couldn't walk as well anymore. He like it had like the little joystick and it goes around. He was like, Mom, finally no one has to push me because he can't do it himself on a regular wheelchair because of
Oh
his
yeah.
arm weakness. So somebody's
Yeah.
always had to push him. He was like going up and down the halls and he was like, Mom, follow me. Come on.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was like his first sense of independence.
Yeah.
And it's literally like that's what I've learned from like my mind instantly goes to like he viewed it in such a different
Yeah.
way. Like just such
Yeah.
a, are you kidding me? Like I get some independence instead of,
Yeah.
and so that 100%. And honestly, I need to do that more and and I even tell him that because sometimes we get into it. He's on a daily steroid, so it makes him really grouchy. And we get into little spats and I apologize, if I get upset. And I always tell him like mommy's learning too.
Yeah.
Like mommy still has lots of emotions. Like I don't, when I talk about you needing to calm down, I don't expect it to change. Like mommy still learns. And
Yeah.
actually mommy has learned so much from you.
Mm.
And there's times where like I'll get really overwhelmed and he can see it. And literally this happened the other night. We came up with a code word. He picked banana chicken.
Love that.
And so when he sees me get really upset and vice versa, if I see him get really frustrated with like a game, he goes, Mom, banana chicken. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Thank you. And it's
I
like
love that.
taking that, like learning to learn from your child, you know,
Yeah.
or like viewing them more than just like he's a whole human. Like he might be a kid, but like there's like an essence, you know, people have that, you know, there's an essence in him that I wouldn't be who I am now if he didn't exist. And
Yeah.
both my boys. I mean, like Brecken's like a whole different like when they say kids are two different people, he's a whole other person and he's has an insane imagination. And I love that because why so many kids like Brecken won't even like play video games that much. He comes home and plays with his toys and comes up with stories. And he loves scary stuff. Like his whole room is like Michael Myers and
Yeah.
stuff. And he draws monsters. My mom's like, you're not worried that he's like drawing all these scary monsters at school and stuff. I'm like, no, maybe he's like the next Tim Burton, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop his. You keep
Yeah.
going.
That's
Like,
your creative genius, kiddo. You
yeah,
keep at it.
yeah. So, I mean, both of these kids, I mean, teach me every single day, and they keep me doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
Well, they sound really cool. Unfortunately, I've never got to hang out with them. Maybe one
I
day
know,
soon. But
yeah.
dude, of course they're cool. Look at their mom.
Oh, thanks. I try.
Like, dude, you're doing a really great job. And like I get it, like, the be humble, of course, but
Yeah.
you and I both know that you're really killing it in life and you're doing a really great job.
Thanks. I want people to know that, like, even though, like, you know, it looks like on the outside, like, I also have, like, right now, I'm in a burnout phase. Like, I
Yeah.
also experience, like, no matter what you see on like the outside, and like, I put out videos and it's like, oh, she's got it all together. Like, I'm also having, like, being empathetic in the world, like, watching it, like, I am tired, dude. I
Yeah.
am tired, but still I persist, you know, like I still do
Yeah.
what I gotta do, but I feel tired. I feel burnout. Like there's days that I don't want to either. It's not like I'm always on. I'm not always
Yeah.
it's
Right.
it and so like I know and I've always been hard on myself. I know I'm doing well. I just never want anybody to look and be like, oh, she's just got it all together. She's like some superhero. And it's like, no, dude, like you're capable too. Just
Yeah.
because like you feel like we all do. Like,
I feel like that's what makes the superhero though.
yeah.
Like, is the humanity behind it. Like,
And yes, and I want people to know that because people are like, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, you can't.
you
Well, I'm
can.
to this, I'm to that. I'm like, that's good. That makes you you.
Yeah.
Everybody's voice, like, there's certain things that you could do that I can't or that I can't speak to. Like, yeah. So for those that are, you know, like anybody can become that woman, you know, the women that we talk about. Anybody
Yeah.
has that ability, and no matter what's going on in your life, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just talking about it with your friends and family, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
even teeny tiny, you don't have to be making videos and you don't have to be going on podcast. You don't have to be doing those things. Even just being willing to have the conversation with people, even being willing to share your outlook makes a difference. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it does.
It
So,
does. Well, and to your point, like, especially with my community, sometimes I have colleagues and friends that are like, you're a little too honest in your professional life. I'm like, bro, I don't think that's fucking possible. Like before we
no,
pressed record, I didn't think about it because it's so common for me. I asked you a question and you're like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, oh, fucking tits. Like that's how I
that's how
speak. I
me
don't
too.
care. Like I do care. I'm going to be speaking in a very, very big capacity internationally in a few months. And I talked to
That's
Trav. I'm
exciting.
like, you. I was like, do you think I should fucking like take some speaking courses or something? And he's like, no, you present yourself very well when it's that type of a situation. He's like, but the best thing is you don't fucking care. Like you don't care if the way that you speak isn't the way someone else thinks you should speak. And
Exactly.
the same goes for like the burnout. Like I have been wildly open with my clients, especially because I talk to them the most, but my community, like I lost all control of my right side. And it was all due to the fact that I wasn't taking care of myself at an exponential level. I was doing the somatic work, I was doing the nervous system work. Those are the two big boys. I was doing neuroplasticity, I was eating right, I was doing the shit. But I speak to women that are being heavily impacted by what's happening into the world or in the world right now every day.
Hmm.
2, 4, 5 times a day, I'm having conversations with women that are having lives, I don't want to say ripped apart because that's not entirely true, but lives heavily affected because of all the different aspects and moving parts of what's happening into the world. So when I shut this laptop and I sit here and do my decompressing after those things, if I'm not careful, I carry that shit with me to bed.
Yes.
And then on top of it, I'm looking at it and I'm like, how do I find my personal balance right now in a space that we've never been in before? So I'm just so honest with my community. And I appreciate you saying the thing you did about
Yeah.
burnout because I'm there too. I've
Hmm.
never been here just like you've never, I've
Yep.
never, I miss the days when I didn't fucking hear about our president every 2 hours because of the insane shit that was happening. Like I miss those
Right?
days. Like, and it's not because I'm on any type of screen all the time. It's because that is the reality that is happening currently.
Hmm.
And like, I think it's really important for people, especially women, to understand that like for the last month, this is the most I've been able to use my arm in a month. I have not been able
It's
to not wear a
crazy.
brace the whole fucking time because of burnout, because of emotional overload, because of nervous system shutdown, if we're going to be really fucking on it or honest about it. But I think that's what needs to be said because when we create any type of facade, even if it's with the best of intentions, because we're simply just, when you're on social media, it is fake and
Hmm.
not from a shitty place most of the time. It's fake because I don't want to record every fucking moment of my day, bro. You get 10% or less of what's happening in my life because I'm trying to live my life, just
Yeah.
trying to record it all the time. Like, I only put out there what's best for my business. I make smart business fucking choices. Like, and also I have boundaries in my business. I'm not
Hmm.
going to share everything with everyone. And like, I think that what happens when you have that type of standpoint or anything like it, including with yours, you don't put it all out there so people assume that's all there is, even though they know that that's not. Deep down, they
Right.
know that that's not all that your life
Right.
is, but that's all they're perceiving. So they perceive that you have it all together and that you never
Hmm.
reach burnout and that all these things, and that's not true. We still have tummy aches. We still have burnout. We still take painful shits. Like we are
Yeah.
still very human.
Yeah.
The difference is the vision and the ability to hold the vision and to move forward and toward the vision, just like Killian, to have that
Hmm.
resiliency and to keep standing up and to keep going after it. And I honestly, that's the only reason I have a fucking career is because
Hmm.
women come to me, they're like, I'm burnt out, my nervous system is overloaded. I don't believe I can do things. I have all this trauma or whatever it is. And they're like, I want better for myself. I want better for my kids. And I'm like, bitch, you can't. And I'm
Hmm.
just the one that'll make sure you get there. Let's fucking get into it. Like, that's the only reason I have this position that I'm
Yeah.
in and I'm so grateful for is because of honest women like yourself and myself that are willing to say, yeah, baby, I've been there too. And you're going
Hmm.
to get through this because tomorrow it'll be different. So let's pull up our fucking big girl panties and let's get to work. And then we can go take a nappy. Okay.
Yeah.
And have a snack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So thank
Well,
you for being honest about the burnout. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So we always end these episodes the same way, to go be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I always like to ask my guest, would you like to offer an idea on how to do these things for our listeners on either how to be kind to yourself today or how to go be kind to others?
I have one for each.
Good. I love
So,
that.
being kind to yourself, the thing, take, take, even if it's 5 minutes in a dark room, sit on your bed, lay on your bed, set your phone somewhere, turn off your laptop, and just try, and especially as women too, we're in a constant state of like clenched muscles. Do the best thing you could do, even if it's for 5 minutes, sit there and consciously be like, okay, You have to consciously relax all the muscles in your body. And I'm going to tell you, it's one of the best things. It's just put on some like music. So if you have to have your phone around, do that and then turn it over so you don't see the light. But like, seriously, do like relax your muscles. We are in a constant state of like, oh my gosh, you know,
Mm.
um, and being kind to others. Don't be afraid to compliment people. Like I do it
Yeah.
all the time. And like I'll be at the drive-through and I see like one of the girls is like nails. Oh my God, I love your nails or
Yeah.
her hair. Make sure it's like a genuine compliment, but like
Yeah.
it can like light up somebody's day. It just can change. Like I've seen people's like, just their demeanor change instantly. And yeah, like having a conversation with, somebody like I am one of those people that I'll butt in all the time. I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I love that book," or and
Yeah.
the uh, just
Yeah.
acknowledging your neighbor. Hey, what's up?
Yes.
Anything, So as far as being nice to others, it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to go start one of those pay for you, like I'm gonna pay for the person behind me line. Like it's literally as easy as a compliment or a hi.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Well, thank you for being here, Jen. I really, really appreciate this. I very much look forward to you coming back. I'll send you information about that, of course, after the
okay,
podcast.
perfect.
But truly, thank you so very much. And I know that my entire community and I will be sending not only yourself, but Killian and Brecken so much love and so
Oh,
much
thank you.
good energy. And keep me updated on how the boys are doing, okay?
I will for sure. Thank you so much for having me.